Okay, this is Planetary Encodements on August 21st, 2023. My name is Rae Ellen Sievert. As I said, I think last time I called myself an eclectic astrologer. Whatever I do doesn't make sense to the average astrologer because I kind of mix and match different modalities from all kinds of, oh God, from Vedic to tropical to um what do you call it? A solstice, all of that. It's just like I just kind of mix everything together, and it kind of works. Especially if I'm giving you a personal reading. I've been studying astrology for many, many years, so I've had all kinds of introductions to all kinds of ways of reading this the spheres or the energy patterns, and that's what I associate astrology with. It's like looking at the energy patterns of the cosmos and see how it relates to us personally. I feel that we come in as group souls, we come in as individuals, we come in various ways to experience the earth and the patterns of what's happening in the times. And the people that are incarnating now and have been for the past, oh my God, 70, 80, 90 years are actually since, well, most of these people aren't around now, but there was an influx of spirituality coming in the beginning of the 1900s. And astrology had a peak several times during that time period. We had spiritualism. And then when I started studying astrology in the 70s, there was like a peak of astrology, and it kind of goes down again. But for me, astrology is taking the energy, like if you take it personally, it's when you are born on a particular day, at a particular place, at a particular time. There's a point on the planet that's pointing to the cosmos, and that is, you take your first breath, and that is the program that you are going to work with in this particular lifetime. It's an impress, it's a pressing on your biosuit. And we are born with gifts and we're born with challenges. And oftentimes people want all the gifts, but not the challenges. But the challenges are what give us the incentive to make changes in our life. And as people can attest to it, seems to be a challenging time right now, but we're also in the greatest growth pattern right now. So that said, we are entering, and we have been entering, a time of great change that is unique, that has never, ever, we've never experienced as a human race. That's what I feel. And we are having the chance to experience the world with a new perspective. So as much as there's challenging, what do you call it? Challenging stories out there to be experienced, like, COVID came in a couple years ago, and now we have a bunch of fires, and the earth is burning up. What do we do about it? There's a terrible reality that happened over in Maui, and people have many understandings of what may or may not happen, but it's how we take these times of chaos and times of crisis within ourselves, and how it feeds us on a level of our own spiritual growth, and how we take those inside of our body and we decide we're going to make the world a better place. Now, sometimes it can be challenging to say, I want to make the world a better place, but I feel that our destiny during this time period now is to take what's presented to us, look at it, see how it's presenting to us, and changes to the highest good. I think that that is what we are doing on the planet right now. And oftentimes that's a challenge because, we want to take revenge or we have vengeance or whatever. But the energy of today is we are the way showers of the future, of taking this energy in, transforming it through self-realization and self-actualization to form a world that is going to be created that has never been created before. And I can't tell you how I know that. I can't tell you why I know that. I just know that it's happening. I've felt that as a young child for a very, very long time. So I told earlier this year, we talked about an eclipse that happened at 29 degrees of Aries. And I knew it was a new moon eclipse. And that 29 degrees Aries was a very significant new beginning for all of us in the next 2-year period, actually till 2025. It was the beginning of us initiating the change within ourselves. Several planetary portals also opened up during that time. The Sirian Stargate opened up. The Lyran Stargate opened up. The Arcturian Stargate opened up. Right now, we are dealing with another royal star called Fomalhaut. That's opening up. That's in Pisces. So I know that these are fixed stars, and what does that mean to you? How can you take that in and look at it in a different way? So I wrote a few things down to, talk about what's happening. Like today, the sun is conjunct Regulus. Now, Regulus is a fixed star in the sky. These are royal stars that were brought by the Persians. There are 4 royal stars. There is Aldebaran, Regulus, oh God, Antares, and Fomalhaut. All of those were the fixed stars. And each of those, the Persians used as gateways to open up for humanity to, open up to. So Regulus today and tomorrow are very prominent, but it's prominent every year this time. And what does that mean? What does that mean for us? Well, today, I think in the message that I would like to transmit is that even though Regulus happened every year, this year is a little bit different because of all the other stargates that are opening. So to me, Regulus has to do with the heart of the lion. It has to do with royalty. It has to do with our lineages. So to me, it's kind of like, how do we get in touch with our innocence, our childlike quality, so that we can develop a royal lineage that will affect those in the future? In a royal lineage, I looked up royalty, and royalty has to do with, let's see, I think I wrote it down somewhere. Probably can't find it. Royalty has to do with being, I think, a way shower. And I think that right now, with all that's happening, if we can take the challenges within ourselves, transform them with our heart consciousness, come to a new sense of self-realization and self-actualize a way of being, that's the highest thing we can do right now. It's Regulus has to do with, it's the angle of divinity. It's ruled by Archangel Raphael, and Archangel Raphael is kind of like the archangel of children. So at this time, we can take what's going on around us and look at it as if we were children and how we would respond to it. Sometimes when things are challenging, children go within themselves and they hide, and they don't know what to do with it. But us being older, I think that we can take it within ourselves and see how we can bring innocence to what's going on around us. So, I know I'm going to pause for a minute, and I hope I'm making sense in some way or another. I don't know if anybody has anything to say so far.
Ray, I have
Okay.
a question.
Yes.
So, how do you know when a stargate is opening? What indicates that?
Okay. Um, that's a very good question. You can look at the signs in the cosmos, and the stargates are particular degrees in the cosmos. Sirius often opens up during the astrological sign of Cancer. Regulus opens up during the time of Leo and early Virgo. Arcturus will open up during the Vedic sign of Libra. Arcturus signs up. Andromeda is now open, and that is in the Vedic sign. And I go to Vedic because right now I'm thinking that I want to be in right relation to the cosmos as these stargates open. So I'm changing it a little bit up. So Neptune is aligned with Andromeda right now. And Saturn right now, as we speak, is Fomalhaut. And I would like to go to that stargate as well. So stargates open. I think they've always been opening, but right now, because we are going through so much on the planet, I think that they are overly active. And I think that we can reach them more on an intuitive basis. It's all about our intuition and knowing a little bit about the cosmos. And here I'm an astrologer and I'm talking about it, and I'm not even explaining it very well, except for the fact that they are impulses of pure energy that are coming to on the planet to activate parts of our biosuit so that we can take action on that. Now, the Syrian Stargate has to do with our blueprint of our body. It has to do with why our light body is taking action on something. And that Stargate opened although it opens every year in the sign of Cancer, it opened up just before it went into Cancer, but it was activated by the eclipse cycle and Pluto. And actually, this Stargate, even though it's usually open a short period of time, is blown open and will be constantly open until probably the spring of 2024. No, actually, spring of 2025. So the Syrian Stargate has to do with our cosmic blueprint, why we came into this incarnation at this particular time. And I think that mass humanity came in at this time, not mass humanity, a few chosen way showers came in to open up mass humanity to discover who they really are through opening up through themselves. As we become self-realized within ourselves, we radiate that out. And when there's a critical mass of people waking up to their reason for being here, which is becoming truly conscious human beings for the first time. Now, you can say that people are conscious all the time. Basically, we're not. Basically, we're run by programs. Okay? A conscious human being can make choices and decisions about their life, not based on the programs that are impressed in their body, but looking at something and deciding how they want to change it. It takes a different type of creator energy to do that, and creative energy. And right now, that's what we're doing. So, Susan, I don't know if I answered that question for you.
I'm not sure either. It's interesting though.
You're
Um,
not sure. You're not sure. Okay, let's see. I guess I'm not answering that
well,
question.
are you saying that when certain degrees are touched by the sun or by a planet or something like
Yes, yes,
that,
yes, 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 yes,
the
yes.
energy sparks and
Yeah.
that's what you call a stargate?
Well,
Or is a stargate fixed?
they appear to be fixed because when you look at the night sky, it always looks the same. Planets revolve around the sun. Like we have a sun. Okay, okay. Stargates. Stars appear to be fixed in the sky. Okay. So when you look in the sky in different seasons, you'll see the constellation of Orion, or you'll see the star of Sirius. They're particular solar systems unto themselves. So each star out there is a degree of consciousness. They are, oh boy, oh my gosh, I'm not answering this really well. It's a good question, except I'm having a hard time answering it because I think that I have to answer it within myself.
Yeah, it can be continued some other time, like
I know that, but
I can, I don't know that much
well,
in that
well,
much, so
apparently it's looking like I don't either.
we
And
might be
that's
good.
probably good. It's probably good because your question has, provoked me to get a better answer for you. So I have to
Great.
say that I know a stargaze brings a particular energy forth, like the Arcturian energy that comes forth has to do with the seventh dimension. And the seventh dimension is all about sound. So you have the eighth dimension of light. That's the impulse of light. And then we have the Arcturian, which is all the sound. And when you hear sound, it creates a particular vibration, which is the blueprint, which is the Sirian. They are masters of the blueprint body. And then the Pleiadians, the Pleiades up there, they are masters of our Akasha. That means our ancient heritage and all of that. And so each of those are activated at certain times, and they activate those programs within our light body, our biosuit.
Okay.
So that's what I'm thinking right now.
I like that. That's good. Thank you.
Well, thank you. So also right now, the planet Saturn is conjunct the royal star of Formalhaut. And what does that mean? Saturn is all about structure. It's all about discipline. It's about organization. And so Saturn conjunct Formalhaut from now until next spring and early next summer means that we are going to be restructuring the way we change our life around us to a higher way of being. It's all about resurrection. It's going within ourselves to find out that deepest part of ourself that wants to express itself. And it's creating with, okay, what we're doing right now as creator beings, if we create for just ourselves, it's not what humanity is doing. They are creating as a cause to affect all of us around us. We're having a noble cause to create. So if we're doing something just to make more money or get an education, that is good, but it's not what humanity is striving to do right now. It's going to a higher degree of cause. We are going to the cause of our soul, and that's what we're waking up to. It says, when any man thinks and deeply is realized, it becomes the property of all. So we're going through the state of self-realization so we can affect those around us. That's what's happening right now. I think I have to recalibrate here, get back into my energies, because I think my meditation, I woke up out of my meditation and I haven't really settled within my body. So
Stacy, can you repeat the four gates that are open now? I know the Syrian, Arcturian. What are the other two?
and then what was your question?
Oh, the gates that are open now, Syrian, Arcturian.
Okay,
What
yes.
are the other two?
Actually, the ones that are opening now are the Syrian. Today is Arcturus because the moon is activating that. Regulus is open and Formalhat is open. So I think I have
Okay.
I got to recalibrate, because where is this bringing all of us? And what is the opportunity that we can take advantage of right now? So I think I'm going to bring it back to a level of what's happening in the sky. I'm sorry about this. Like I said, I came up out of meditation and I didn't center myself before coming on. So I feel like I'm all over the place. So I'm going to try to bring it down to a practical application of what's happening. So right now, I could bring it down to our everyday level of not stargates, of what's happening in the sky. The sun is in the last degrees of Leo. It is conjunct the star system of Regulus, but what does that mean? It means we have an opportunity at this time of the year to go into our divine lineage. It means going into the lineage of our mother and our father, assessing our life and see how we want to change things. But right now, that's being challenged so we're doing this out of love of what we want to create. But Uranus right now in the star system is squaring that. And as it's squaring this energy internally, we're trying to figure out what is really valuable to us. What do we appreciate about what we are doing and what we love about our lives? And each and every one of us is going through that in some degree or another. We are looking at what our talents are, because everything that we thought that we were or thought we were in the past doesn't seem to fit anymore. It doesn't seem to fit at all. And it's really blown out of proportion of what do we really want? What is really, really valuable to us? How do we want to nurture ourselves? And how do we want to bring that creative form to the world around us? So if we have been in a job or whatever position we're doing right now, if we're in a relationship, it's bringing us into a questioning of how is that valuable to us, and how is this encouraging me to bring love and appreciation to the world around me? Saturn right now is in the sign of Pisces. Saturn has to do about restructuring. And right now, being in Pisces in retrograde, it's restructuring through our intuition. It's going deep inside of ourselves and following that mingling within ourselves to bring ourselves in right relationship with ourselves, those intuitive qualities within ourselves. And oftentimes we get that little voice saying that, do this, and then the outer voice will say, no, you can't do that. It's not time to do that. But you have to listen to that inner voice. And Saturn is restructuring us so we can actually listen to that inner voice. So that is what's happening right now. Pluto is in the sign of Capricorn right now. And what it is doing, and it's in the very last degrees of Capricorn. It's been there since 2008. And it's in the last remnants of being a Capricorn of how do we want to restructure and transform our life so that we are in right relationship with ourselves. Everything is about in right relationship with ourselves. We may be in a relationship with another person, but it may or may not be working. But if we're in right relationship with ourselves, then everything falls into place with all those around us. In a few days, Mercury is going retrograde, and Mercury has a bad rep of going retrograde, but it's going retrograde in the sign of Virgo, which has to do with our day-to-day habits. And when it goes retrograde all the way until, let's see, oh, shoot. I thought I had this written down. It's retrograding. It's going to go direct on the 4th of September. Now, the interesting thing about Mercury going retrograde in the sign of Virgo, I think what's going to happen with that is it's going back almost to the same degree as what happened with the Maui fires. So I think that some answers of what really caused it are going to be coming out at the beginning of September. It's still in a state of everything is up in the air of what really, really, really happened. So there's going to be an intense investigation of what happened, and everything is going to be picked apart so that things can be assessed, and the reality of what really happened will be coming out at the beginning of September. At the same time, at the beginning of September, Venus is going to be going direct. And Venus has to do, again, with what our talents are and what we appreciate and what we are working on in our lives and what we love about ourselves. If there's anything that we don't love about ourselves, it's going to be revealed to us during this time. It went retrograde on the 22nd of July, and it's going to be going direct probably around the 5th of September, right around the time that Mercury goes direct. Let's see this for sure. Actually, the 3rd. Both Mercury. Oh, okay. No, Mercury's going to go direct. I'm sorry. On the 14th, and Venus is going to go direct on the 5th. I got that mixed up. So during that time period, I think we're going to wake up to some answers that we have been trying to work on in our lives. Oh my gosh. So what's important right now is actually getting in touch with where we are going and why we are going in a different direction, what direction that we want to go with during this time, and redefining what is very valuable to us. That's what's happening right now. Now, just recently, on Friday night, some of the elders came forth from the Koji tribe, and they're are talking about getting in right relationship with ourselves so that we can be in right relationship with the planet around us. I think a lot of us within our hearts know that there is a big change happening. We have felt this change probably very intensely for the last 2 or 3 years. We may have known this all of our lives, but it's really coming to critical mass right now where we have to step up and decide where we're going. But you know what? We are not at the point of making that decision yet. And I guess when I come in and talk about the astrological influences, I guess I want to give you some answers about something. And that's what I'm attempting to do. And I cannot give any answers at this point because several big energies are happening right now. We are in a time of great transition. We'll be that transition is going to accelerate and get more intense all the way till 2025. There's an eclipse coming up on October 14th. Eclipses are intensification of energy, and it's going to be a total eclipse where some people in the United States will be able to see it. It's going to be, I think, in the lower parts. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it up in Washington or California, but I think it's going to come down through the West Coast and down to the lower part of the country. Then there's a big total eclipse of the sun that's going to go from Mexico all the way up to Newfoundland, and that's going to be next spring. But until those eclipses actually happen, we are in a state of limbo. We are in a state of not knowing, except for the fact that within us, we're feeling very uncomfortable. We know that there are big changes happening with each and every one of us, but we don't know what it is and we can't define it. And I think that's what I was attempting to give us some idea of what that may be. But because we're in this state of limbo and we're going through an internalization of how we're eliminating parts of our lives that no longer serve us, little by little, we're going to wake up to what this change is going to be within ourselves. And I am thinking that we're going to get more of an idea of what this is probably in October, actually November and December, and probably even next spring. I mean, it's going to go on. I think we are going to wake up more and more with Mercury retrograde coming up and Venus still retrograde. I think the opportunities are within us right now to kind of embrace and see what is valuable to us. What is most important to us? And we may or may not be able to achieve it, but if we go within ourselves right now and we know that if we make a change within ourselves for the greater good of all, it's going to open up parts of ourselves that we have never been aware of before. So we're on the brink of waking up in a whole new way. And as we speak today, we are getting back to our innocence. We're getting back to knowing that we have a divine lineage that's coming forth, a lineage that goes back before time and space as we know it. It's a royal lineage that has been pressed upon our bodies many eons ago. Because our human biosuit is much older than we can even know. It goes back, I mean, there was a fall of consciousness, thousands of years ago, and we forgot who we are, but we're waking up to knowing that we can be creator beings in a whole new way. So right now, as we speak, in the sky, Regulus is opening us up to what our divine lineages are and how we want to bring that forth. Venus is in Leo. What is valuable to us? What is valuable to our heart? What is valuable to how we want to create the world around us? Saturn, how do we want to embrace our intuitive qualities? How do we want to structure that in our life so that we live intuitively all the time? Because we have been taught not to trust our intuition. How do we want to restructure ourselves so that we can embrace that part of ourselves, so we have an inner knowing all the time, that we are guided by that inner knowing that's so deep within ourselves that we have been taught not to trust, so that we can trust that part of ourselves that is really telling us the truth, but we have been told that it isn't the truth. How are we going to look around us and transform structures that are no longer valuable to us? Whether it's our educational way of looking at the world, our education, and maybe jobs that don't serve us, or the medical system, or the government system, or the educational system, or all of those systems that no longer serve us. And maybe we want to get in touch with the world around us and embrace the natural world around us and let that inform us of who we are and how we want to participate in the world around us. Getting in touch with our knowing of the true elements around us, the elemental kingdom, whether they're Sasquatch or Yeti or off the planet beings of who we know that are contacting us and are talking to us, and trusting that they are informing us to move in a particular way. So I guess the bottom line is we are still in a state of not knowing, but knowing that but are opening up to possibilities of who we can be in the future. And we're not going to really know that for a few months yet. But parts of ourselves are deciding what is no longer valid for us. So we are opening up to that. We're in gestation. It's like we're in the womb. And, like you have conception. There's a lot of conceptions that have been going on lately, astrologically. And when you're in conception, someone will say, okay, you're carrying a baby. What's this baby going to be when it grows up? What color hair is it going to have? What color eyes is it going to have? Is it going to look like the father, the mother, sister, the brother, the aunt, the uncle? How's it going to be? I mean, what's his personality going to be? You can't answer any of those questions. So we are in gestation right now. That's where we are in our lives. And, I guess my, there's just a part of me that wants to make it really easy. And, I'm struggling just as much as anybody else going through this. And but if we all know that we're kind of like going through this birthing together, Oh my God, I have no idea what the creation is going to be, but it's going to be, I think it's going to be absolutely fabulous. But actually, we're going to see the baby being born. That's the crazy thing. We're going to actually see who we become. We are on the planet right now, and we are becoming this, and it's coming for a very long time. This is a very, very, very special time to be born and on the planet, to create something that has never been created before, and each and every one of us are taking a part. And that's why when we come, that's why it's really good to work in groups, because when we come to some kind of self-discovery within ourselves, and if we share, I become aware of this, someone will say, oh my God, I became aware of that, but I didn't think it was that important. But if you're aware of that and I'm aware of this, then, so we help each other by waking each other up as each of us wake up. That's why it's so important to share our discoveries and share our realizations and share where we're not at as well. That's what it's all about.